The new standard meta is still making waves in the secondary market, and we got to look at more of the Avatar The Last Airbender set this week too. How are those previews impacting the market? Find out in this latest episode of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. This video is sponsored by Flipside Gaming. Check out flipsidegaming.com for all your gaming needs. Right now you can order Edge of Eternities, pre-order Marvel's Spider-Man, or find a vast number of other great items on their website. Remember, shipping is free in the US if your order is over $100 or consists only of singles. Just look in the description or comment section below for direct links to their site. Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends, and welcome to another edition of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. As I said in the cold open, players are scrambling to build new standard decks, and many card prices are reflecting that fact. Avatar The Last Airbender previews are also starting to make an impact as well. Since it is another busy week in the market, we'll be looking at the top 10 cold cards and the top 15 hot cards. As always, our lists are based on two pieces of criteria: the percentage change in the value of the cards, as well as the change in the number of sales from week to week. We'll quickly look at the cold cards and then spend a little more time on the cards moving up in price. First off, I do want to say thank you though to one of our viewers who gave a super thanks tip last week, and that is Todd Branch. Todd, thank you for your support for the channel. Your ongoing support has been amazing. I can't thank you enough, truly. Thank you again, Todd. And I also want to say thank you to one of our gold patrons, and that is Thomas Wright. Thomas, thank you for your support. Being a patron goes a long way, helps me immensely. So thank you for your long-term support, Thomas. And now, without any further ado, let's get into it. We'll begin with the top 10 coldest cards of the week. Many of the top 10 cold cards have recently been moving up in price, but you know how it goes. Cards get hot for a time, then the market moves on to other things. Let's jump in though with number 10, Adaptive Omnitool. It goes down $1.06 to $2.31. That's a 32% decrease. This is from the Ether Drift Living Energy Commander deck. Moving down 4 spots this week to number 9, Thrumming Hive Pool. Down $1.48 to $3.49. That's a 30% decrease. Lots of Edge of Eternities packs have been opened, and this had a high price upon its release, so it moves down this week. Coming in at number 8 is Slick Shot Show Off, down $1.59 to $7.01. That's a 19% decrease. Not long ago, this was in lots of standard decks with Corey Steelcutter. However, recently with the new standard rotation, Corey Steelcutter was banned with 6 other cards. Now, Slick Shot Show Off is not seeing anywhere near the play that it once was, at least in that format, and the price comes down. A week ago, this was number 11 on the hot list. Last week it was number 10 there. This week it arrives on the cold list at number 7, Overlord of the Boiler Bilges, down $1.69 to $8.30. That's a 17% decrease. The standard Naya unit deck that runs this is doing okay, but not really taking off in the format, so this retracts some. Overlord of the Boiler Bilges is still being picked up by many commander players that want it for their Tanic Steadfast second build, so. Coming in at number 6 is Apothecary White, down $1.90 to $6.58. That's a 22% decrease. This has seen some additional play recently in commander decks around Ragos Deft Gastronaut from Edge of Eternities, which has caused this card to move up slowly in recent weeks. This week, though, it does trend down some. A week ago, this was number 15 on the hot list. Last week, it peaked at number 5. This week, it's number 5 on the cold list, Honor of the Fallen. It is down $2.15 to $11.39. That's a 16% decrease. It's a one-part wonder that was moving up because of the increased commander play it was seeing in builds around Hopus Theme from Final Fantasy. However, the recent price spikes have enticed sellers to put copies of Honor of the Fallen up for sale, and the extra inventory has led to this retraction. Number 4 is Zamriel, Seraph of Steel, down $2.24 to $10.23. That's an 18% decrease. This is from the Magic Game Night Free-for-All product, and it only comes in foil. A few months ago, this was increasing in price due to some speculation that players might want to upgrade the Final Fantasy Limit Break Commander deck. That spec never panned out, and now Zamriel is moving back down. Number 3, Starting Town, down $5.14 to $27.96. That's a 16% decrease. This spiked aggressively a week ago because of all the additional play it was seeing in the new standard meta. It's still seeing a ton of play, but a lot of Final Fantasy has been opened, and as players acquire their copies of Starting Town, the hype settles, leading to this week's price retraction. This was number 1 on the hot list last week. It's number 2 on the cold list this time around. It is Debt of Loyalty, down $12 to $35. That's a 26% decrease. Recently, MTG Rocks posted an article discussing this card's playability in Commander. The price spiked aggressively. Maybe it ended up in a few Commander decks, but it was really the additional attention and speculation that caused the jump. Sellers couldn't resist listing their copies when they saw the inflated value, and now Debt of Loyalty is dropping back down. And coming in at number 1, Goblin Wizard, down $13.37 to $84.62. That's a 14% decrease. This reserveless card was the target of a buyout not too long ago. Now copies are being sold back into the marketplace, resulting in this price decrease. Alright, time for the main event, the top 15 hottest cards of the week. Let's get started with number 15, General Tazri, up $1.02 to $2.51. That's a 69% increase. This is a fairly popular commander used for ally builds. We have been seeing some Avatar The Last Airbender previews, and it quickly became clear that allies were going to play a big role in the set, which led to speculation on Tazri, hence the price increase. Here are just 2 examples of ally support cards from the recent Avatar previews. We have Katara the Fearless and Katara Water Tribe's Hope. Number 14, Blossoming Tortoise, up $1.09 to $3.50. That's a 45% increase. This has been a solid commander card found often in Lumra Bellow of the Woods builds. Recently, many players wanted to get Blossoming Tortoise in order to upgrade the Edge of Eternity's World Shaper commander deck, while others wanted it for fresh builds around Zor-El Genesis Shepherd from there. But now, Avatar The Last Airbender previews are pushing Blossoming Tortoise's price even more. The Earthbend mechanic in the set allows you to turn a target land you control into a creature and give it some number of +1/+1 counters. Beyond that, many players are speculating that Blossoming Tortoise may fit well in a commander deck around this preview card in particular, Toph the First Metalbender. Number 13, Ugin's Nexus, up $1.09 to $3.88. That's a 39% increase. This had been seeing a little commander play here and there for a while. In fact, recently some players grabbed it for their commander decks around a couple cards from Universes Beyond Final Fantasy, Ultima Origin of Oblivion, and Noctis Prince of Lucis. More recently though, a card from Edge of Eternities has been pushing the price of Ugin's Nexus. Many players want to throw Nexus into their new builds around a very popular commander from that set, Rigos Deaf Gastronaut. As always though, there's more to the story. Now there is some speculation on Ugin's Nexus because of the preview of Toph the First Metalbender. Some people are mistakenly thinking that you could sacrifice Nexus when it's a land to get the extra turn and Nexus back as well, but its first ability would actually stop you from taking the extra turn if it comes back with the earthbending mechanic. However, if you have a way to sacrifice an artifact, then you could sacrifice Ugin's Nexus when it returns to play. In that case, it would be exiled, but you would get 2 extra turns. Doesn't seem bad, but we'll have to see if that spec pans out. Number 12 is Spirit Loop, up $1.09 to $3.99. That's a 38% increase. This has seen a tad bit of commander play in some different decks, like Lightpaw's Emperor's Voice, for example, but now a card from Edge of Eternities is causing this price spike as well. Spirit Loop works great in those popular Rigos Deaf Gastronaut commander decks. Number 11, Rashida Scalebane, up $1.12 to $4.99. That's a 29% increase. This currently doesn't see much play to speak of. The last time this spiked was when Tarkir Dragonstorm was being previewed, and some were speculating that Rashida could be a good countermeasure for all the new dragons in Commander. Now it looks like there is some speculation on this again, maybe because there are dragons in the Avatar The Last Airbender series, but even though Rashida Scalebane is a reserveless card, it's always a very shaky spec. Quickly before we get to our top 10, just a fast reminder, this video is sponsored by Flipside Gaming. Check out flipsidegaming.com for all your gaming needs. Right now, you can pick up Edge of Eternity's products. You can pre-order Marvel Spider-Man, or find any number of other great items on their website, Magic related or otherwise. Remember, if your order's over $100 or consists only of singles, shipping will be free in the United States. And if you're looking for a direct link to their site, just check out the description or the comment section below. I do have links posted in both of those places. And now, without any further ado, let's get to the top 10. Number 10 is Turn Timber Ranger, up $1.15 to $3. It's a 62% increase. This is in Commander decks around General Tazri, but you know why it's moving up now. Yup, it's because of all the ally support we're seeing in the Avatar The Last Airbender previews. Number 9, the Indomitable, up $1.16 to $5.01, that's a 30% increase. This is from the Lost Caverns of Ixalan Ahoy Matey's commander deck. It can now be used as a commander, and some players are doing that. You also see this in the 99 of builds around cards like Edward Kenway and Admiral Brass Unsinkable. Recently, though, the Indomitable has found itself in new commander decks around a couple cards from the Sonic Friends and Foes Secret Lair, Dr. Eggman, and to a lesser degree, Miles Tails Prower. Also, some players have been getting the Indomitable as an upgrade to the Edge of Eternity's Counterintelligence commander deck, while others have been putting it in fresh builds around Kilo Apogee Mine from there. All this extra demand has led to the Indomitable's price jump. Number 8, Need for Speed, up $1.25 to $3.99, that's a 46% increase. You didn't see this card a whole lot, but recently it did get a little boost in gameplay and in price thanks to Edge of Eternities. Some players have been grabbing this to upgrade the World Shaper commander deck, and others have been putting it in new decks around the front-facing commander from there, Hearthhull, the World Seed. Coming in at number 7 is Adagio Windswept Bastion, up $1.50 to $7.86, that's a 24% increase. This is a new Edge of Eternities card that is actually moving up in price, and that does say something considering all the packs being cracked. The card has been showing up in Cloud Midgar Mercenary 1v1 dual commander builds, but it's also found its way into several regular commander decks. You see Adagio Windswept Bastion in builds around other cards from its set like Ragos Deft Gastronaut and Infinite Guideline Station. Also another good upgrade to the Edge of Eternity's Counterintelligence commander deck, and it's in fresh builds around a couple cards from there, Kilo Apogee Mines, and the front-facing commander in Spirit Flagship Vessel. Number 6, Enduring Curiosity, up $1.51 to $8.01, that's a 23% increase. This sees play in multiple formats, but standard is the key driver this time. In particular, it's the Dimir mid-range deck that's driving Enduring Curiosity's price the most. It's a very popular build and it runs 4 copies of this. You also see Enduring Curiosity in other standard decks too though, like Simic midrange, Esper midrange, and Dimir Fairies. In Pioneer, this is found in Azorius Flash and Dimir Aggro, plus Enduring Curiosity also appears in Commander of course. In 1v1 dual commander, it's in builds around Malcolm Alluring Scoundrel, Aragorn King of Gondor, and more. Over in regular commander, this has been in several builds like Arrington Giada, as well as Elsha Threefold Master for example. However, this has seen more play there recently in decks around Sonic the Hedgehog from the Sonic Friends and Foes Secret Lair. Coming in at number 5 is Sunbillow Verge, up $2.10 to $11.51, that's a 22% increase. This is another card seeing play in multiple formats. It's in the new standard meta, we see it in a few decks there. The most popular one is Boros Mice, and that deck does run 4 copies, but this is found in others too, like Boros Aggro and Boros Token Control. It's also in Pioneer Boros Hammer Time. As you would expect, Sunbillow Verge is in the mana base of several commander decks too. In 1v1 dual commander, you see it in builds around cards like Aragorn King of Gondor and Flage Titan of Fire's Fury for example. However, regular commander is the key driver for the price spike. You see this in a ton of builds around new cards, but the most popular one is around Ragos Deft Gastronaut. Additionally, Sunbillow Verge has seen increased commander play in decks around Sonic the Hedgehog and Lightning Army of One. And it has been added to new commander precons like the Edge of Eternity's Counterintelligence and Final Fantasy Limit Break commander decks. Plus, Sunbillow Verge is in fresh builds around Kilo Apogee Mine from Counterintelligence and Cloud X Soldier from that Limit Break deck. Coming in at number 4 is Soulstone Sanctuary, up $3.16 to $6.03, that's a 110% increase. First off, this gets a little commander play. Sometimes it appears around Norwind Swift Survivalist and 1v1 dual commander, and around Karn Legacy Reforged, as well as Lathril Blade of the Elves, for example, in regular commander. However, this has been a big card in that new standard meta, and that's one of the big reasons Soulstone Sanctuary is spiking. It's in some highly played decks there, like is it Cauldron and Dimir midrange, but it appears in a lot of other builds in the format too, like Mono Red Dragons, Mono Red Aggro, Simic midrange, Gruul Aggro, Boros Mice, Orzhov midrange, and Mono Black midrange. There's another reason Soulstone Sanctuary is spiking though. It has also become a speculation target due to the ally support coming from Avatar The Last Airbender, which we discussed earlier. A week ago, this was number 14. Last week it jumped up to number 6, and this week it's moving up 3 spots to number 3. Legion Extruder up $5.29 to $14.98. That's a 55% increase. This is from the Outlaws of Thunder Junction's The Big Score subset, so it's harder to pull than a card from the main set. It too is being pushed by some cards from Edge of Eternities though. In Standard, we saw this in a new Is It Artifact build a couple weeks ago. Since then, the meta has shifted and that deck has slipped. However, you do see Legion Extruder in a different brew now called 4-Color Manufacturing. We'll have to see how the meta responds to this one. Meanwhile, in Pioneer, there is a new version of Is It in Soul Artifact that runs a copy of Legion Extruder. Again, it's too early to tell if the deck has legs, but it's worth watching. Commander, though, seems to be the key driver for Legion Extruder's price increase this week. It has been in 1v1 dual builds around Flame War Brash Veteran, but now it's appearing in regular Commander decks around a popular card from Edge of Eternities. That's right, it's Ragos Deft Gastronaut. Coming in at number 2 is Scrap Heap, up $6.99 to $9.94 for a 237% increase if you're doing the math at home. This very old one-print wonder is hard to find in good condition, but no one was really looking for it until recently. Turns out, this is a great card to put in those Ragos Deft Gastronaut Commander decks, since it lets you gain life so that Ragos can untap at the next end step. The new demand on such an old card has resulted in Scrap Heap's sizable spike. And finally, coming in at number 1, Mage's Contest. The one from the list is up $3.94 to $15. That's a 36% increase. The original Invasion copy up $10.03 to $19.99. That is a 101% increase. This can appear randomly in a commander deck from time to time. It's a fun, quirky card. This week though, Goblin Grounds made a short video talking about Mage's Contest, and it looks like that may have drawn some attention to it. Shortly after the video aired, copies started to dry up online. Now that it has spiked, I imagine that sellers will be looking for copies to put up for sale, so I would expect that this price will begin sliding back down soon. Alright, that's going to do it for this episode of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. Tomorrow my plan is to come back and do another Magic the Gathering Arena live stream and play some Edge of Eternities draft. Set your notifications, I don't know the exact time, most likely late morning, early afternoon. Until next time though, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give us a like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible through the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page, as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.